The Big E Sports Show.
Yeah, we got it going on.
The fastest hour in sports entertainment. We don't just talk about the headlines. We bring you some of the most engaging and colorful guests each and every episode for your listening pleasure. Now, without further ado, here's your host, Elissa Walker-Campbell.
Hey, Elissa Walker-Campbell, I want to welcome you back to the Big E Sports Show. And last weekend in Norman, NBA veteran Buddy Hield's jersey was retired at the Lloyd Noble Center, honoring one of the greatest players in Oklahoma basketball history. He is now a 10-year NBA player whose career continues to thrive at the highest level. And the coach who helped guide that journey joins us now, former Oklahoma head coach. That is Lon Kruger. How are you, Coach?
Doing great. Thanks for being able to be with you.
Good to have you back on. And when we think back to Buddy Hield, not just as the player, but the person you coached at OU, what's the very first thing that comes to your mind?
The joy that he played with, the passion that he had for his teammates. Buddy was a dream from a coaching perspective. He came every day wanting to work to get better, whatever he could do to help the team do as well as possible. But he just had that great smile and work ethic, and teammates loved him, fans loved him, and again, a coach's dream for sure.
When Buddy first arrived in Norman from the Bahamas, he was talented, but he was still developing. So how would you describe just the transformation you witnessed over the 4 years? Because he really developed into a special player.
Quite a transformation, because he came out of high school thinking, thought of as a slasher, not a terrific shooter, but a good athlete. But his work ethic was just unbelievable. He genuinely wanted to get better every day and became the best shooter in the country his senior year of college. So that's a credit to Buddy and the time that he put into it. And again, he was a gym rat, and still to this day, he's always the most popular guy on his team because he cares about others.
You know, you've talked a lot about his work ethic, but what was some of the feedback you got from his teammates? What did they value about him the most in the locker room and in practice?
Buddy gave his teammates great security. You know, when your best player is also your hardest worker, and a guy that when you go on the road, teammates had total confidence in him. Buddy wanted the basketball in late game situations. Teammates wanted to get it to him, and more often than not, he delivered. Yeah, loved by his teammates. Again, just a guy that genuinely cared about everyone else and only about team results.
Well, one of the things Buddy talked about in his, I guess, before the retirement of his jersey, he had mentioned that, you know, just your relationship with him, and that he really revered you as a father figure, and just the profound impact that you had on him. I mean, Coach, how does that make you feel?
Certainly makes you feel good. You know, you hope that players feel that way. Buddy was from a great family. His mom was terrific. You know, he was well-grounded, fundamentals, in terms of caring about others and thinking about others and doing things for others. You know, he was so easy to be around and so easy to coach because his mom gave him such a good beginning.
It has nearly been a decade since the Final Four run. You've had some time to reflect on all of that. What stands out the most about that team?
How much they enjoyed playing for each other. You know, a lot of times you hear when teams play for each other, play for the school. You know, this day and age of NIL is a little bit different in a lot of cases. So that was a group that was very special in terms of understanding each other's role and having confidence in everyone taking care of their respective roles. And again, Buddy led the way with his team-first attitude.
Well, Buddy spent 4 years at Oklahoma, and in this era, it seems like that has kind of changed. You just don't see that anymore. Just how special is that?
It's a different world today, no question about it. Back then, relationships were the most significant part of it, whether it be in recruiting or working with players, developing over a 4 or 5 year period. Not so much today, unfortunately. Obviously the NIL, the dollar, carries a great deal of weight, and I think those teams were, again, players stayed together. We had a starting lineup of exactly the same people for 105 consecutive games. And that's unheard of, whether it be injury or transfers or whatever. But what contributed greatly to that team being successful.
Well, it is rare to see a player stay at one university for 4 years. But when you think back to teams where players grew within a system over time, what potentially is lost when these turnovers, you have this roster turnover so quickly now?
Yeah, just that consistency in terms of freshmen come in and kind of establish a little bit of a role, and then an improved role as a sophomore, and then even more so junior and senior years. So it's a process back then. Today it's more of a what can I do today? What do I get today? And a little sense of entitlement with the money aspect of it as well. Again, it's such a different world that coaches have to adjust and move forward and kind of keep up with the times.
Well, Coach, while we have you on the show, we've got to give a shout out to your son, Kevin. He is now serving as the assistant at Illinois. There's a big game tonight against Michigan. Just how invested are you in following closely this program in the Big Ten?
Well, I follow them closely. Of course, Brad Underwood was also a graduate of Kansas State, so know Brad for a long time, and Kev loves it there. The staff is great. The team is really good. They're fun to watch. They share the ball. They move the ball, and a lot of them can make shots, so that makes for a good combination.
Of course, the game tonight will be on Fox, Michigan and Illinois. My final question for you is, let's talk about the Las Vegas Golf Classic that is coming up in the month of May. It's certainly impactful. It's one of the great philanthropic traditions tied to college athletics, and you were the head of it. Tell us about it.
Yeah, I appreciate the opportunity.
Yes, sir.
Coaches versus Cancer, the organization is 34 years old now, raised over $160 million during those times for cancer research. Coaches do such a great job using their platform in their respective areas to not only raise money, but to increase awareness about the fight against cancer, encourage early screening, early detection is the most important thing in battling cancer. So coaches do a great job of that. So we'll have May 17 to 19, 4 or 5 great courses in Las Vegas. 20-25 head coaches come out, bring their boosters, have a great time. We'll have almost 100 foursomes during that time and raise nearly $2 million. So it's a fun event. People love Vegas, but they don't lose sight of the reason they're here. And again, that is to raise dollars and awareness in the fight against cancer.
And Coach, what would you say to someone considering to getting involved in the first time? Is there a website where they could go and perhaps even make a donation?
Yeah, absolutely. You can go on cancer.org, and find information. But yeah, we love having first-year guys. It's become kind of a reunion because this is the 19th year of doing in Vegas. So boosters come and enjoy each other's company, and again, great golf, great weather, and a little bit of a Vegas good time.
Always a true pleasure when we have the opportunity to catch up with former Oklahoma's head coach, and that is Lon Kruger. Enjoy March Madness. It's going to be here before you know it, and good luck to your son. Thank you, Coach.
Thanks, Elissa. My pleasure.
Yes, sir.